Hello and welcome to the topic displacement. This is lecture 2 for unique properties of language. Throughout our discussion, we will have the reference of The Study of Language by George Ewell, 5th edition. Displacement. Let's first have an example to understand the concept of displacement. When you ask your pet cat, "Where were you last night?" the cat will reply, "Meow." You are likely to understand this message of cat speaking to you, "Meow," because communication between you and the cat has taken place in the background of immediate time and place. But if you ask the same cat, "Where were you last night? And what were you doing?" the cat will have the same response, "Meow." What we understand through these two examples are that animals are not capable of communicating expressions such as last night, over in the park, tomorrow, yesterday, and so on. Thus, animal communication is almost exclusively designed for this moment, here and now. An animal cannot effectively be used to relate events that happened in the past or that are far removed in time and place. Such a property of human language is known as displacement. So, displacement refers to past and future time and to other locations. It allows the users of language to talk about things and events not present in the immediate environment, that is to say, not happening at the time of speaking. Animal communication is generally considered to lack this property of language. It enables us to talk about things and places whose existence we cannot even be sure of. We can refer to mythical creatures, demons, fairies, angels, and recently invented characters such as Superman. It is the property of displacement that allows the human, unlike any other creature, to create fiction and to describe possible future worlds. That's all. In the next lecture, we will talk about arbitrary. Hello and welcome to the topic arbitrariness. This is our lecture 3 about properties of language. Throughout the book, we will have the reference of The Study of Language by George Ewell, 5th edition. Arbitrariness. What's your name? Well, your name may be Mary, Fatima, Sarah, and so on. But why are you called by what you are called? I mean, why you are known by those names? That's because when you were born, your members of family called you by those names, right? Your mother and father chose you to call by those names of Mary, Fatima, Sarah, and so on. Had your parents chosen to call you by different names other than those of Mary, Fatima, and Sarah, you could have been known to public by different names now. It means that there is no natural connection between the person and the name given to her or him. Our name is recognized because of the wider social acceptance. That is how we are known by particular names. This is known as arbitrariness. Technically, we can say that there is no natural connection between a linguistic form and its meaning. Let's have another example. The object placed in front of us has a particular name with which we recognize. It is known as book in English. The same object or icon has different names in different languages. We call it kitab in Arabic, pustak in Hindi, and so on. Had there been any natural or iconic relationship between the object and the name given to it, the same icon or object could have been universally known by the same name, book. But that's not so. Recognizing this general fact about language leads us to conclude that a property of linguistic science is their arbitrary relationship with the objects they are used to indicate. This property of language is known as arbitrariness. Names in no way fit the objects or icons they denote. Productivity. The word productivity comes from a verb, produce. It means to create. The adjective form of the verb is productive, that is, being creative. The synonym of the word productivity is creativity. It is akin to open-mindedness. Productivity. The potential number of utterances in any human language is infinite. The human expressions are limitless. Let's have an example to understand this concept. We have only 26 alphabets in English language. Out of just 26 alphabets, how many number of words do we have in English language? Thousands, millions. How many number of sentences are we able to produce out of those words? Endless, infinite. There are billions of books in the world. Are all sentences or expressions in all books the same? No, they are different from one another. Every day we get up from bed and start a new day. From morning till evening we interact with so many people. We joke, we laugh, we form endless number of utterances. Different situations bring varied opportunities for us to express. Those varied expressions refer to the basic concept of productivity or creativity in human language. Writers and poets are the most productive human beings on the earth. They produce endless number of sophisticated expressions or utterances. So we can say that productivity is a feature of all languages. Novel utterances are continually being created and expressed. A child is very active in forming and producing utterances which he or she has never heard before. Non-human signaling, on the other hand, appears to have little flexibility. In fact, animal signals have a feature called fixed reference. In grammar, we most often speak of productivity in connection with the patterns of word formation. The noun forming ness is highly productive. For example, happiness, preparedness, usefulness, friendliness. The same is true of verbal prefix re. For example, rewrite, reconsider, reappoint, renegotiate, replay, reboot. But the noun forming suffix th is totally unproductive. We have existing cases like warmth and depth, but we cannot form any new ones like happyth or bigth, etc. At the end, we come to the point that productivity refers to the degree of freedom with which we express our ideas and feelings creatively.
One way we differ from other animals is that we can pass on our culture, our knowledge, our skills, not just in face-to-face interactions, but across generations to strangers we've never met, even those living long after we have died. Chimpanzees have a culture of sorts too. Different societies of chimps, for instance, use different tools to do the same job, even though the same materials are available to them. One society of chimps uses sticks to get honey from trees, while another uses chewed leaves as a kind of sponge to perform the same task. These are learned behaviors. Chimpanzees watch and copy tool users around them, and so pick up these local patterns of behavior. But we humans can pass on what we learn over great distances and across time. We can do this because we have symbols, ways of recording and transmitting our thoughts and discoveries, in writing, pictures, photographs, videos, and so on, but also others can learn from the objects we design and which survive us. Without these sorts of cultural transmissions, each generation would have to reinvent itself more or less from scratch, as chimpanzee societies do, relying only on what they can pass on to those around them.
Hello and welcome to the topic Duality as a Property of Language, Lecture 7. Language is organized at two levels or layers simultaneously. This property is called duality or double articulation. In terms of a speech production, we have the physical level at which we can produce individual sounds like no, ba, and e. All 44 sounds of English language belong to this category. As individual sounds, none of these discrete forms has any intrinsic meaning. That is, individual sounds don't have meaning at all. For example, look, we have individual sound no, ba, and e. It doesn't have any meaning. We have the individual sounds here o, ba, and ka. We don't have any meaning. We have the individual sound here e, sha, pa. We don't have any meaning. So do these individual sounds make any sense? No, of course not. But when we combine those sounds in a specific manner, they give us meaning. But those individual sounds, when we combine them in a specific manner, they give us some meaning. Like no, e, and ba, nib. Ba, o, and ka, book. Sha, e, and pa, sheep. So they have meanings. Why? Because we have combined them in a specific manner. Further, when we produce those sounds in a particular combination, as in bin, we have another level producing meaning which is different from the meaning of the combination in nib. So we have the same sounds ba, e, na. we have the same sounds na, e, ba, but when we have different set of combination, they give different set of meanings, like bin and like nib with the same sounds we have. So at one level we have distinct sounds, at another level we have distinct meanings. This duality of level is in fact one of the most economical features of human language. We as humans with a limited set of distinct sounds are capable of producing a very large number of sound combinations. For example, words which are distinct in meaning. So at one level we have sounds, distinct sounds, and on the other level we have distinct meanings. And with a limited set of distinct sounds like 44, we human beings can produce a large number of sounds which will give us distinct meaning to express ourselves. Hope you understand the lesson. Thank you and goodbye.